Hey, Davin here with Digital Trends, and today we're taking a look at the GoPro Fusion. This is the company's first 360-degree camera, recording video in a full spherical area around it. But of course, it is not the first such camera to hit the scene. But now that it's here, the big question is, can GoPro give us something that will actually make consumer 360 relevant? Or is immersive video still kind of a gimmick? First, there's a lot that GoPro did well with this camera. It has all the sort of same GoPro attributes like voice control, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth built in, and of course it connects to the same great GoPro app, and it does have Pro Tune support, so that's great. It gives you a lot more control than what some cheaper 360 cameras give you. It's also waterproof without a case, down to about 16 feet, but it's really just there to keep it protected. Actually, shooting with this camera underwater will cause distortion that messes up the stitching lines, so it won't look great if you're trying to use it underwater. Resolution is bumped up to 5.2K, which is certainly better than the usual 4K, but all those pixels are still spread out around that whole spherical area, so it's not as sharp as you might expect, say from a camera like a Hero 6 Black shooting at 4K resolution. And as soon as you start to zoom in at all, it falls apart pretty quickly. Still, for a dual lens 360 camera, it's probably the best resolution we've seen. So the Fusion also uses this really unique offset lens design, which GoPro says helps in stitching and actually makes it possible to more accurately combine the two hemispheres together. And in our experience, that's absolutely true. This camera has some of the cleanest stitching we've ever seen. But there's one large condition, and that's that you have to be using the Fusion Studio desktop software in order to get those results. And that program is slow and clunky right now. If you stitch in the mobile app, which is actually faster, the results are much poorer and the stitching line is clearly visible. And that's a shame, because the mobile app offers an otherwise much better user experience, and it's where you'll find overcapture. Overcapture is GoPro's term for reframing spherical content to standard fixed frame output. And it essentially allows you to reshoot a shot as many times as you want. So you can either just tap and drag on the screen to change perspective, or you can actually hold your phone up in space and move it around, and you can pinch to zoom and pull all the way back into a little planet perspective, and anything you do is recorded as a digital camera move that changes the look of your final video. Now, we think this is one of the better uses of 360 video, and a lot of other companies have implemented their own versions of overcapture. While GoPro gives you a good amount of perspective control, it also has some problems. Overcapture works in a very linear fashion, and if you make any mistake while you're reshooting a shot, you have to go back and redo the entire thing again. There's no way to just edit a single point on the timeline. Now, it's fun the first time you're using overcapture and reshooting a shot, but the second, third, 10th time you have to do it because you keep making a little mistake, that's not fun anymore, it's just frustrating. The way overcapture works also makes it nearly impossible to get a steady, professional-looking shot. Even if the camera was originally locked down and stationary, overcapture will make it look like your video was shot handheld. And that's because you're basically reintroducing camera shake as you're panning around with overcapture. So you're adding in camera shake in post-production. And that completely removes the benefits of the otherwise excellent stabilization system that's in the Fusion. Now, I guess that's fine if the handheld look is what you were going for, but we much prefer the keyframe-based approach of the Rilo, which is another pretty recent 360 camera. It allows you to just set points for the camera to look at, and then the software handles all of the panning and tilting automatically, and it's perfectly timed and smooth and looks really polished. And you can go back and edit any point at any time. Now, the Rilo can't do everything the Fusion can do. It's a lower end, lower cost camera. But this does show that there is room for improvement in GoPro's overcapture. And if you're thinking you'll just edit on the desktop when you need smoother results, well, while overcapture is technically in Fusion Studio, it's really in there by name only. It allows you to set just a single locked perspective before you flatten the video. So if you want to create the slick, adrenaline-fueled edits you see in GoPro's official sample videos, you'll need Adobe Premiere Pro. So that's fine. If you're an editor, that's fine, you can do that. But we are a little disappointed that overcapture doesn't offer more either on mobile or on desktop for the average consumer. So the Fusion certainly isn't perfect, but for its target demographic of action sports enthusiasts, it's probably the best 360 camera that's available. At $700, it's not going to have the same broad appeal as other GoPro cameras, but if you have the money to burn, it will give you a unique perspective that you can't get with a traditional action camera. But the Fusion just isn't the 360 video savior we were hoping for. For now, investing in a 360 camera remains a risk. Whether the novelty of the format fizzles out on you depends on what you shoot and how much time you're willing to put in to post-production. We do look forward to following the evolution of the Fusion though, and we're optimistic about its future. It probably has the most potential of any 360 camera that we've tested, and it does fit well into its specific niche right now. For more information on the GoPro Fusion, make sure you head to digitaltrends.com for our full review.